Hello everyone. So we still have we only have seven viewers at the moment. The other one is the other one is my monitor. We only have six. So while waiting for others, please key in your attendance following the instructions here. So for your attendance, type in the comment section your favorite color and add your comment. Once again, hello. Am I being heard already? Hello. Hello, hello. So we have 11 viewers. Gawin lang natin 20 siguro, 20 or 30. 20 to 30. And then we'll start with our discussion. So let's check who in their attendance, please. So we have Jaya, Jimmy, Jaya May, Team Black. Angelica, good afternoon. Do you think Sigma Suel, another team, really Pista? We also have Team Black, another Team Black with Quest and Rachel and Pilar. We also have another team here, Team Blue. Saint Matthew, Marley, Spirit. Mrs. Spirito. So have another Team Black here. Hello, Janwell. Good afternoon. Jane Pasqua, another Team Blue. So while waiting for others, let's give them time to log in. Medyo mahaba yung topic natin, so please, I'm only be giving you quite some time bago natin starting discussion. Medyo mahaba yung topic. Our topic deals with the upcoming performance as well. It is an action. So you should listen well and take down notes on the questions you want to ask. Pumunta na tayo kay Jing. Yeah. Eleven. Let's just wait for the others. Three more minutes before we start. Oh, another team here. Team Purple. Hi, Jackie. Pero ayaw mo mag-comment kahapon siya. Another team here. We have another team here. I'm Jonalyn. I'm Jonalyn. Two more minutes. I'm gonna start. Maybe while waiting, nood lang muna tayo ng mga documentary. Happy Black again. One documentary.
Student journey when it comes to education. Every student has their own unique journey when it comes to education, filled with ups and downs. Let me tell you the story of one such journey from homeschooling to attending school. Tom is a grade 12 STEM student from Ramon National High School. A bright and determined young learner who began his educational journey in the comfort of their own home.
What are the reasons that made your parents decide that you'll take homeschool?
Well, it was my parents' personal decision to school us. Because aside sa hindi kami masyadong into academic, kumbaga hindi kami on track pagdating sa academic. They also have a great desire to actually teach us yung mga bagay na na-miss namin sa school, such as yung moral values and ethics. And I think dun pinaka-umiinog kung bakit kami nakapasok.
What are the challenges you have encountered in the new environment and how did you adjust?
Well, yung transition namin from homeschooling to traditional school was actually challenging for me. Yung 5 years na nakatenga ka lang sa bahay mo, yun lang yung kumbaga tinuturing mo na school and then bigla kang lalabas. Made me actually an introverted person. Hindi na ako masyado nakipag-socialize ganyan kasi nga wala akong masyadong namimit ng mga tao. And nung lumipat ako sa Ramon National High School, I was struggling to make new friends. I was struggling to socialize. Ayun, I feel like I am left alone kasi nga, of course, yung language din nila dito is Ilocano. Hindi ako marunong ng Ilocano.
Wala kayong ano?
Well, yung parents ko is Ilocano pero hindi kasi kami naturuan ng language. And isa pa pala is yung mode din ng learning. Yung, kasi sa homeschool lang tayo. Kahit siguro anong oras ka gumising. Para mag-aral is pwede. And dito kasi, nung nag-homeschool, nung nag-traditional school na is, dapat consistent yung pag-gising mo ng maaga, like 6 p.m. in the morning. So, magbibihis ka pa. Sa homeschool lang is kahit hindi ka na magbihis ng pakalis, hindi ka na mag-uniform. So, yun lang naman yung isa sa mga challenges na, or isa sa mga adjustment na ginawa. Pero, of course, paano ako nag-adjust? Ayun, repeated. Kumbaga, pag ginagawa mo kasi yun araw-araw you're getting used to it. So, yun lang naman. So, tinis ko lang din. And,
Okay, I guess we can start now. Will you please comment if I'm being heard? Comment na lang sa comment section if my audio is being heard. Thank you. Okay, I guess I'm being heard siguro. Let me check if I'm being heard. All right, let me start our discussion for today. Okay, so we are going to discuss. Also, yesterday we had our discussion, and now we're gonna start another one. So before we start another one, let's have a short review of what we discussed yesterday. So on a 1/4 sheet of paper, I want you, or an extra paper, an extra sheet of paper, you have to write the answers. Okay, of your answers from these questions, or maybe you can also log in or type in your answers on the comment section for these questions. Okay, so this is something to do with what we have discussed yesterday. All right. So first question, what is the most important factor for successful community development? Is it A, funding from external organizations, B, in-depth understanding of the community, or C, strong leadership from a single individual, or D, a large volunteer base? Key in your answers, everyone. Key in your answers. Okay, number 2. When creating a community profile, what should be included in the area as a social community section? When creating community profile, what should be included in the area as a social community section? A, the average income level of residents. B, the quality of the physical environment. C, the level of resident participation in social activities. Or D, the types of businesses located in the area. Clarence, for number 1, Princess J answered B, Clarence answered C, Glyvy answered C. How about for number 2? What are your answers? Let me check your answers. Key in your questions. Your answers rather. Clarence answered A. How about the others? Yung iba nag-attendance lang, then they went out. Pala kayo dyan. Anyways, yeah, so what I've said sa ating group chat, no? I'll be sending this naman, the PowerPoint here, and you can watch our lesson afterwards. Okay? Number 3. What is one principle researchers should follow when collecting information for a community profile? Is it A, focus on collecting data quickly and efficiently? B, treat the community with respect and sensitivity? C, present their own ideas and solutions to the community? Or D, prioritize the opinions of the wealthiest residents? What's the answer? Key in your answers on the comment section. Number 4, what does local facilitating mean in the context of creating a community profile? What does local facilitating mean in the context of creating a community profile? Number 5, which of the following is not recommended when collecting information for a community profile? A, observing people's behavior and environment. B, sharing your own ideas and opinions with the community. C, asking questions respectfully and listening carefully. And D, ignoring the cultural context of the community. Okay, let's check your answers later on. All right. So let's dig deeper on participatory action research. So for this subject, community engagement, this is one of the major requirements that we have to accomplish at the end of the semester, right? So you're gonna have an action research, or what we say, an action plan. So before conducting an action plan, you should have an action research first, right? So the Center for Community Services, or the CSS, through Cabilis, Abelardo, Maralit, and Banzuela in 1994, gives 3 related definitions of it, which they gathered from organizations and people working with the basic sectors of the community. And what are these definitions of participatory action research, or shall we be using the acronym PAR, P-A-R, okay, for this one. All right. So participatory research is an investigation of problems and issues concerning the life and environment of the underprivileged in society by way of research collaboration. Okay, take note of this. From the term itself, an investigation of problems and issues. So what you're going to do here for a participatory research is, of course, to investigate and to know, or to investigate about a problem and a certain issue. That, of course, focuses or concerning the life and environment of underprivileged in society. So, among underprivileged, usually sila yung mga poor members of the society. Okay? So, how do you do it? By way of research collaboration with the underprivileged, of course, the underprivileged themselves would be included here, whose representatives participate in the research process as well as equal partners. That is, as researchers themselves rather than outsiders doing research upon them or their problems. So for a participatory action to be conducted, you're conducting or you are trying to investigate a problem or issue here involving underprivileged persons, and they themselves should be considered as a researcher, not just a plain participant for this. Okay, that's according to PDRP Program 4 of the International Labour Organization, CCS, in 1984. Okay, so participatory action research as well is defined as an approach to social investigation with the full and active participation of the community concerned within the research process. So it is a process that entails the gathering information to be able to take action. Of course, you are going to conduct an investigation, a thorough research about a certain issue for you to be able to come up with a solution to solve the problem. That's according to Torres in Labrador and Serra, eds. in 1987. So, in this approach, the needs, the conditions, and the problems are identified first. Then, appropriate solutions based on the identified and prioritized needs are planned and implemented through a partnership between the community and concerned government and or non-governmental organizations. Okay. So a community organizer, you, who will soon to be a community organizer or facilitator, who enters in a new community undertakes some form of social investigation through collection of community information. So sabi ko naman na kanina, yung mga dapat nyo i-consider when you're going to collect or you're going to profile a certain community. So after profiling them, then that's the time that you're going to collect community information. Okay. And alongside with, habang nagkakaroon kayo ng community profiling, actually you are collecting information already. In undertaking the role, in undertaking the role as a community organizer or facilitator, it is important to observe the following practices as recommended by Cabilles et al. In 1994. So number one, you have to recognize and value the indigenous knowledge and skills of the people. Trust their perception, experiences, and their capabilities, because those are their knowledge. And these knowledge or these practices, these traditions are transferred it is actually transferred by their ancestors or the older generations that they have. So we have to recognize them and give value to it. Ibig sabihin, if their practices or the way they decide, the way they move, the way they take things in their community is not the same or has been the same since then sa lugar na yon, then ibig sabihin, it's of value. Because they value their beliefs, diba? So you have to trust their perceptions, their experiences, and their capabilities, because sila naman nakakilala sa sarili nila. Okay, so you have to observe this one. Another is suspend your own perception. When we say suspend your own perception, you stop considering first what you think. Okay? Because that will hinder you to properly get the data that you wanted. Kasi syempre, kung lagi mo sa amin ganito, sa amin ganyan, ay dati sa amin ganito, ang alam ko dapat ganito, alam ko dapat ganyan. So the possibility is that you will be biased with the information and pwede mong ma-manipulate yung data that you are or the information that you are getting from the community. So suspend your perception. Equip yourself with the knowledge, of course, orientation, and skills that go with implementing the PAR. Because sabi nga nila, hindi ka pwedeng, you cannot go into a battle without your armor. So you should be prepared. Another one is practice the principle of participation and empowerment. Okay? You have to participate and you have to empower them. Number 5, acquire an understanding of the broader social context. You must have a brief research about the history or the people kung saan ka magko-collect ng information. It's better to be prepared, di ba? Number 6, develop an inquisitive mind and encourage the people to do the same. Okay, so those are the important practices you have to observe, no, in undertaking the role as a researcher. Okay? It is recommended by Cabillas et al. In 1994. So according to Cabillas et al., there are 2 important phases in collecting information using the PAR method. So since gagamitin nyo nga ito, then you have to know these 2 phases. Okay? So these are the preparatory phase and the research phase. So ano bang ginagawa nila sa mga phases na ito? Okay, number 1. So preparatory phase, there are 3 steps that they are doing. Okay, number 1 is preliminary community profiling. Another one is entry and integration into the community. And number 3 is community consultation. Okay? So when we say preliminary community profiling, so this activity aims to obtain a basic knowledge and understanding of the situation of the community, which will inform and facilitate the organizer's entry to the community. Okay? So here, what you're going to do, obtain basic knowledge like their names, their status, number of family members, the people there, how many are they, diba? Kaya nga, diba, you have to do research. So you really have to do preliminary community profiling. Okay? Afterwards, entry and integration in the community. And this activity aims to deepen your knowledge of the community. So this is the phase where you get to know the people and where you form a data gathering committee from the community. So nakuha mo na, nakapag-organize ka na, then pupunta ka na ngayon sa pag-i-interview or getting to know the people involved. So magkakaroon ka ng data gathering committee na. Siguro maybe you can talk to the if your focus is on if your project or if the issue is on for example is health, since medyo malayo yung lugar. So sino mga taong involved doon? Of course, you have to talk on the kapitan. What are their practices there? Anong status ng kanilang health there? Health facilities o healthcare doon? Regular ba ang pagdalaw ng mga health professionals? May pinapadala bang munisipyo sa kanila or what? Or because dahil napakalayo ng lugar o kaya napakaraming barangay sa isang munisipyo na sakop ng municipality, there's a possibility that hindi agad-agad nakakarating ng mga health helps doon. Okay, so you have to deal with those people and get to know them. Okay? And of course, the third one is community consultation. So this activity introduces the community organizer to the members of the community. So after organizing na, kailangan mo nang ma-introduce ikaw bilang isang community organizer doon sa members of the community. So kaya usually talaga nagkakaroon din ng programs. Pinapatawag sila on a attendance basis, no? Para ma-meet nila who are these people collecting information from us. So this is the phase where you draw out the perceptions of the people regarding the issues and problems faced by the community. So, mas madali to kasi kailangan mo sila makausap. They're going to talk about it. And they're going to give you their concerns regarding the issue. Okay? So, that's for preparatory phase. Let's have the next stage, which is the research phase. So, nakakolekta ka na ng data from them. So, you have to start with step number 1, which is training the training community. So, this activity aims to provide the community with the basic skills, knowledge, and orientation that they need for the research. Ano yung mga dapat nila? Ano yung function nila? Ano yung dapat nilang hanapin? Next one, pre-testing the data gathering tools. So, dahil naka-train ka na ng training committee mo, then it's time for you to test or pilot test whether the data gathering tools are helpful or not. Okay? So, this activity aims to identify the weaknesses of and improve the data gathering tools. Kasi baka mamaya, hindi sapat or may useful and not useful questions dun sa data gathering tool natin. So, you really have to do a pre-test or pilot testing of it. This also done to familiarize the community members with the data gathering methods and tools they will be using. Right? Next step on the research phase is the actual data gathering. So, na-pilot test mo na and you think it's okay, it was valid already, then you do the actual data gathering. So, this activity aims to obtain relevant data which can be used to respond to the issue or problem being studied. Okay? So, after that, after data gathering, you consolidate the data. So, this activity aims to organize the gathered data into forms which will facilitate analysis. Bakit kailangan mag-consolidate ng data? Let me hear from the comment section. Bakit kaya kailangan natin mag-consolidate ng data? Ba't kailangan natin mag-consolidate ng data? Let me hear from the comment section, please. Let me hear from the comment section. Bakit kailangan nating matutuhan na mag-consolidate ng data? Bakit kailangan i-consolidate ang data natin? Anyone? In the comment section. The person who can give the best answer will have a plus point for me or from me. Let me see on the comment section. Bakit kailangan nating mag-consolidate ng data? What is the importance? What do you think is the importance of consolidating the data? So here's some answer. To have a relevant data. That's a good answer, Princess. How about the others? Let me hear from others. Let me hear the others. Come on. So, isa lang sasagot. Alright. So, actually, she's correct, no? We have to consolidate the data for us to test whether it's easier to analyze the data if it's consolidated. Pag sinabing pag-consolidated kasi, magkakasama yung mga magkakaparehong sagot. So, you have to consolidate. Mas madaling ma-test or ma-analyze. Correct? Para malaman kung relevant ba yung data na nakuha natin. Kasi, baka yung lalabas niyan, mas marami yung hindi or against or some. For example, that's a topic, no? Against or hindi. Then, you may have an idea already kung ano yung kalalabasan ng research natin. Thank you, Princess. Okay. Another step after that one is, of course, after you analyze, after you consolidate, you have to analyze the data. So this activity aims to identify issues and problems in the community using the research findings. Okay? So the roots and effects of the issues and problems are explained in this activity. You have to analyze, you have to understand. Kailangan mong pagtagpi-tagpi-tagpiin lahat ng mga sagot or data na meron tayo to come up with a generalization. Okay? Para magkaroon tayo ng findings. I know you understand this kasi you have your research subjects already. Okay? Number 4 or number 6, preparation of the data. For the preparation of the data, this activity aims to identify creative, popular, or alternative ways of presenting the research results. Kaya kapag nagpresent tayo, we are using pie graph, bar graph, or any forms, no? Or any ways of presenting the research results. And last one, for the research phase, you have the community consultation and data presentation. So kapag naayos mo na, you've chosen the best way on how you're going to present the data, then you're now ready for data presentation. You have to consult with the community. These are the findings of the study I conducted or the research I've conducted in your community. Okay? So once again, there are 2 phases. You have the preparatory phase and the research phase. Okay? So in preparatory phase, you have 3 steps. And for research phase, you have 7 steps. Right? Okay. So aside from the processes or methods to be used, no, there are other important matters to be considered about or concerned about. So the 3 important ingredients of PAR are, so ito yung mga ingredients na kailangan natin. You have the participation, awareness raising, and collective action. So how are we going to do this? This participation, awareness raising, and collective action. Kasi importante itong mga to eh. So here are the steps. For participation, no, the key point is the people. Okay? Parang ganito lang yan eh. Kung sa 10, pinatest mo kung masarap ba yung luto mong or yung tinda nating milk tea, and they are not even interested to even taste it, no? So there is no participation. Okay? So kapag nag-conduct ka ng PAR, kapag walang full participation, the possibility is that your study will actually flop. Okay? You know, that is why, no? The people should be well versed about what you're doing. Kasi pag di naman sa well versed, niya lang kung sinong makikinabang or ano ang mangyayari, di ba? So they will not be participating. So their involvement is crucial in all stages of the PAR process. It is important that they own the process. They understood the process. So as such, their approval to get involved in the different stages of PAR is really necessary. So they need to decide and commit to the whole process of PAR. Okay? Another ingredient which is important is awareness raising. So the process aids in gaining deeper appreciation of the community and the problem it faces. And this leads to the realization of the more important things in community life and among the people. They should be aware. We should raise awareness of the situation. So revelations from the community will shape and put development interventions in the right perspective if they are aware. All right? And the last one is collective action. So the process involves the coming together of the people in the community in response to needs and issues. Collective action. Everyone should take an action. Okay? So those are the important ingredients of PAR. Alright. So clearly, no, the community-based perspective emphasizes the importance of the people in the community. And the process is not complete without their participation. Sayang yung pagre-research natin kung hindi naman sila magpa-participate in taking action. And the activities will have no meaning without their contribution. So even if they participate, kapag wala namang meaning yung activities, then Ay, kapag wala namang contribution kako sana, yung mga people involved, in those who are participating, then it becomes meaningless. Okay? So the depth of data gathering or collection of community information depends on the objective of the activity or project. So also, the emphasis would vary based on the interest of the research. Nonetheless, there are basic information has to be collected in order to have an overview of the community. All right. So here are the basic information as indicated by Andres in 1988. Consists of the following. So we have the community identification and overview, ecological frame, historical origin, life activities, problems of the people, impact to the community of the outside world or of the world outside, and goodness of local life. So these are the basic information that we have to consider. Okay? So ano ba itong mga to? So for community identification overview, its individuality and uniqueness is considered here. First impression or look-see appearance. Its general location relative to other places and landmarks by which it can be identified. Community identification over how the community looks like. Consider the landmarks. For example, it's a river or a mountain, or there is this big vault of rocks. Okay, first impression. Is it beautiful or not? Something like that. Okay, another one is ecological frame. So physical conditions are being considered as well. Information, boundaries, land area, divisions, barangays, how many barangays do we have? What sets the boundary? Is it the ilog or a mountain range? How are the barangays divided? How are the sitios divided? You also have to check the profile of the people. How many is the population? How about the number? Is the ratio of male and female is okay or equal? How about the age range? Is the ratio of ages from old and young? The composition, the income, the skills available, occupation and nature of work, educational attainment, and home ownership. Sa kanila ba yung kanilang ginagawa? Okay? So historical origin talks on the legendary or real history, reasons for living in that community. Baka may paniniwala sila that syempre lang sa isang lugar that may mga myths and legends sila regarding sa kanilang lugar, or may something to do ba with the Spaniards, the colonizers before. You have to also know the reasons why they live in that community. Diba? Next one, you have the life activities of the following. What are the life activities of the heads of the family? What are the life activities? Purely work ba, or do they participate with other activities? Like they have this clubs in their barangays or their area. How about the mothers? Ano mga ginagawa nila? Do they have their other source of income? The youths, do they have programs for the youths? Programs for the children? How about the organizations there? Are there even existing organizations there? How about the leaders? What are the life activities of the leaders? Okay. Now, we move to the problems of the people. So you have to know the problems of the people. How? What are their insecurities? Okay. Peace and order. Is there a problem when it comes to peace and order? Marami bang magnanakaw, nananakawan sa kanila? Kaya bang mga nanggugulo ba? Economics. May problema ba when it comes to income, to work, supply and demands of products? Health and sanitation. Do they have clinics in the area? Accessible ba sa kanilang hospital? Ba? Do they know basic sanitations? Malinis ba ang palikuran nila? Lahat ba may palikuran? Okay? So utilities and facilities, social and moral problems. Meron ba mga social moral problems? Right? So another one is impact of the world outside, inflow of ideas, goals, and special forms and moral codes, influences, migration, or what are their pastimes? Do they travel, go out, something like that? And of course, the goodness of local life, location and site, is in order situation, availability of job, and community relationships. All right. So those are the basic informations that you have to deal with. So for collecting a more thorough and specific type of information, there are community-based approaches to collecting community information. Okay? So the Philippine Partnership for Development of Human Resources in the Rural Areas, or PhilDRA, in the context of working with community farmers, introduce tools that can be used by community organizers to understand a geographical community. So these are the tools that you may use for you to understand the geographical community of a certain community. Okay. When we say geographical community, we are referring to the place itself, the geographic location of the place. Okay. So in their manual on the state barangay level productivity systems assessment and planning methodology in 1993, they indicate that gathering spatial, temporal, and social or institutional information may be conducted through a variety of tools. And what do you think are these tools? Okay, let's understand first what are these spatial, temporal, and social institutional information. Okay, so when we say spatial information, we are dealing with space, and as such, involves exercises like resource and social mapping, land use mapping, transect mapping, farm sketching, and service mapping. Space mismo deals with the space. So what are the exercises, or what are the things that we can do for us to get spatial information? So number one, you can do resource and social mapping. So it entails the sketching of resources as well as households within the state or the barangay. So the resource map contains spatial information on land. For example, the farmlands, forest lands, and vegan lands, if there are. Water, do they have rivers, creeks, springs, wells, and pumps? Or they're using pumps when it comes to water source. And other resources available within the community. Okay? So may mga iba't ibang community naman, may mga resources naman talaga dyan. Depende sa lugar talaga. Alright. Land use mapping also can be used to gather spatial information. It involves ascertaining land uses of the state, such as what crops are prevalent in the farm parcels. Okay? These two entails identifying the major crops and other dominant features of the state. Parang dito sa Itiaga, no? Most of the agricultural crops that we have here is palay and mais. Diba? Pero mas marami actually ang mais. Kaya nga, we are one of the producers of mais within the province. Parang sa Pandaman, for example, sa San Mateo, no? Although naman sila sa rice din naman, sa palay, but they are known as the Munggo capital of Isabela, di ba? Because yun yung pinaka-major crops din nila apart from rice. For Alicia naman, I guess it's the since kaya nga tinatawag ang festival nila as Balitok de Alicia, referring to the rice because it looks golden, di ba? They're considering as a gold. Of course, yes, rice is gold here in the Philippines, di ba? So yun, land use mapping. So ano yung crops na meron sila dun sa lugar nila. Okay? Another one, or the last one, is the transect mapping. I think this is not the last one yet. Sorry. Transect mapping provides information beyond those presented in the resources and land use maps. So it is done by conducting a walkthrough of the community and, of course, discuss the transect line or route to be taken and the different aspects to be noted, such as vegetation, the things identified, crops, trees, soil types, and others, and use local terms indicating note of the things identified. Okay? Another one is service mapping. So for service mapping, it involves collecting information on the internal and external services available in the community. So services include health, education, marketing, transportation, communication, farming, support, services, and others. So those are some of the services. So put the services found within the community inside the circle and services coming from outside the community outside the circle. Okay? So ganun kapag magsa-service mapping ka. Circle. Okay, how about the health services doon? Kung wala, dahil nasa ibang barangay or nasa kabilang barangay ang pinakamalapit na hospital, then you place outside the circle, no? Na yung health na yun is coming from outside the community. Ganun lang. Okay? Another one is, yes, this is the third one, is the temporal information. Though we're done with spatial information, we have three ways. 4 ways. Now let's go to temporal information. So temporal information includes the historical information of the community. Take note ha, in historical information of the community, which also includes its past problems, previous problems, kung nabababa sila, or lagi silang sinasalakay ng mga salot like rats, snails, kuhols, like that. What are also the past trends, and what are the accomplishments of the community? Okay, so these data are useful in bridging the gaps between the past and the current situation, because maybe one problem was solved in the past, but either way or around, no, pwedeng yun din ang nag-cause ng what happened. A successful solution in the past can or may not be the source of may not be the source of success in the community. Okay, they have to bridge those gaps. So under temporal information, you have your seasonal calendar. So determines the patterns and trends throughout the year in the community. The patterns and trends are illustrated in graphs. So some examples of the patterns and trends are the rainfall, labor needs, expenditures, migration, sickness, crops grown, and availability of food. Mga anong time sila nangangailangan ng mga foods, or mataas ang supply ng food or mababang supply ng food, labor needs, rainfall, so yun, seasonal calendars, right? Apart from that, you have to check on the timeline. So it entails general discussion on important events that happen in the community, and the old folks in the community would contribute to enrich the discussion as they know more about the real stories behind those events. So this activity requires probing skills. Probing skills is parang your ability to probe something. Okay? Another one is farm timeline. So under the farm timeline, so a chronology of agricultural activities undertaken in a particular land parcel. Focus on the practice being observed in the management of the farm and other resources, and undertake farm sketching and relate physical features with the farm timeline review, and this requires in-depth interview with the landowner or the farmer. So anong time sila nagtatanim? Meron ba silang alternative tanim kapag hindi season ng ganitong tanim? For example, sa farms, sa mga fruits, vegetables, something like that. Right? And you also have to check the trend line. So a diagram showing significant changes in community over time. A trend line can be prepared based on analysis of the general trend line. So areas for analysis includes rainfall, soil erosion, productivity, and other aspects of resource availability and use during certain periods. A matrix and graph can be used for illustration. The next one is time allocation diagram. So it's still part of the temporal information, intended to distinguish specific tasks carried out by household members and the amount of time spent on those activities. So it includes activities from the time a family member wakes up until the time the day ends. And The last one, no, social institutional information. So social institutional or institutional information concerns insights on the people in the estate or the barangay and their relationship with one another as well as with advisors. All right. So you have two ways, no? It's the census mapping and the other one is the Venn diagramming. So for census mapping, it provides details of the community with focus on its residents. So based on the list of household heads generated from the resource and social map, prepare cards approximately 4 by 6 inches in size and number the cards and then indicate the name of the households on the card. So one card for every household. So make sure that the card numbers match the numbers assigned to the houses indicated in the resource and social map. Tape or paste the cards on a large sheet of paper in consecutive order and these can be laid out on the floor or any flat surface. Ganun ang gagawin kapag magkakandak ka ng census mapping. And the last one, Venn diagramming. So shows the relationships of the different institutions as well as the individuals with one another and with outside groups. So colors of different sizes are to be used to represent different organizations, institutions, or influential people and decide on which relationship to investigate. Right? So in conclusion, communities evolve and change through time, and people come and go, and new developments arise. So thus, for purposes of accuracy, the relevance, and appropriate alignment of community interventions, you have to make sure that the collected data for a particular community are up to date. That is why we're trying to learn how to profile our community. Okay? So it's been a long discussion. So sorry if it took a lot of your time, but thank you. And for your assignment or attendance check, no? Okay. On a 1/4 sheet of paper, write your question regarding this topic. Okay? Write one question that you want to ask regarding this topic. 1/8 sheet of paper. Write your name at the back of the question. Write your name at the back of the question. Okay, once again, your assignment, write one question that you can generate from our discussion and on a 1/8 sheet of paper, and at the back of the 1/8 sheet of paper, you have to write your name at the back. Hindi sila magkasama ng question. Okay? So prepare that by Monday. Before we start our quiz, I'll be collecting that one. Okay? So once again, thank you very much for listening. This has been your host. Charot. Hindi naman to activity. Anyways, yeah. If you have questions, feel free to ask your questions. Okay? But for now, let's end this discussion. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye. See you on Monday. Ingat. Ingat, everyone. Take care. To enhance data quality. Pakita yung sa GMA na yan.